Iran's supreme leader flees to Russia as Iranian protesters take revenge. Something that's a little interesting about this situation is that I know a certain someone else that is currently gaming up there in Russia, posting shit posts online. Guy look a little familiar? Here, some may know his song that is very well respected. I'm not gonna even cap. This is like, look, I don't support this guy, but his song kinda slaps. I'm not gonna even cap. الشعب السوري بالساحات للمجد بيرفع رايات عم يهتف بثلاث كلمات الله وسوريا وبشار كنيسة وجامع متحدين والمحبي عنوان الدين ومين السوريين وما بدهن إلا بشار I'm sorry, how do you not just hear that and just get a little like, I don't know. I'm sorry. That was just unbelievable. We can watch one more. Hold on.
Hey, you want to see something cool?
Yeah, I know people want me to click on that one. Oh, this is actually low-key a good summary of the map. This is what happened. He's the red. That is the new like Syrian government that's involved. These are ISIS, and these are like the Kurdish. I believe these are Kurdish protesters up north. That are Syrian, but I believe it's Kurdish, if I'm not mistaken. Someone like that. Now, mind you, this mostly happened because of funding with Russia. Russia was mainly supplying him. But conveniently, around when Assad fell was when Russia started this war with Ukraine, and finances kind of dried up. So, because of that, got a little tough. Like, look, this is how much he had at one point. See, now you just guys understood the entire war in just a few second clip there. Alright, one more. Alright.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday! Right now, you save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday! Right now, you save £50 per person. That's £200 off for...
I don't know what that has to do with Assad, but yeah, we're starting this video off hot. Alright, let's get back to the actual video. No, enough shit posting on Instagram. Alright, so yeah, Iran's supreme leader flees to Russia. We've seen this before. Kind of crazy. That means we're seeing a total government collapse and possibly the birth of a new nation. Maybe Persia's making a comeback. Who knows? Who knows? The great tribe of, I think it's Ur, was their largest, Mesopotamia, coming back.
In 1979, massive protests forced the Shah of Iran to flee the country, changing the Middle East forever. Today, history might be repeating itself in reverse. Ayatollah Khamenei, now 85 years old, is reportedly planning to flee to Russia as his security forces struggle to contain a movement that just will not die. Iran is panicking, and Iranian parliament is now threatening US bases in the Middle East as a last resort. So here is how we...
Did bro not get the message the first time? And did guy not understand what just happened in Venezuela? Because we just spread some American freedom over there. That's what just happened. Them eagles' wings were flying. You guys probably like play the fucking video.
On December 28th, the Iranian currency collapsed. So, at first, the electronic vendors in Iran went on strike. because they buy and sell imported electronics, but when the currency is in free fall, that's a hard business to carry out. So they were protesting against government policy and the economic crisis. But very quickly, these protests grew into something much, much bigger. Now people are protesting about everything, and they're calling for the death of the dictator.
And there's also the current, I'm assuming he's going to go over it, but there's also the current water strike that's going on. That is definitely playing a factor. Why did I say water strike? Water drought or water shortage. Water's gone. It ain't there anymore. And that's definitely leading to a lot of this. They also have an energy crisis at the same time. Their power grid shuts off at weird times. They have rare access to the internet. The government heavily censors that and literally turns it off in some areas when they just feel like it. So there's a lot of just state manipulation. Iran's totally corrupt. It needs to get reworked from in and out. They're definitely, if this government's going to happen, this new government, we definitely want to see it as like, hopefully the people of Iran are electing this as a democracy. I wouldn't want to see any puppet governments go in there. Even though we will talk about Venezuela in another video. But the quickly last point, if you guys want to know a little bit more about what was going on with Iran's water crisis, I do have a video. I will somewhere attach it in this part. But yeah, watch that. You guys can watch this first and then go back and watch that one. It's a good video, so just wanted to quickly let people know.
Take a listen. Now, as you can,
you would have gotten killed. If you said that like not even a year and a half ago, you would have for sure gotten killed in Iran for doing that. 100%.
see from the clip on your screen, these protests started growing at a very fast rate. In fact, as of January 4th, last night, the protests have been confirmed in over 108 towns and cities across Iran. Every single day, more and more towns are joining in. Now, the timing of this is also not very good for the Iranian leadership. And I don't mean that just in the geopolitical term. I also mean that in like the age term. The supreme leader is 85 years old, and he's likely declining in physical.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be around very long. So he's like, yeah, yo, let me just like fuck up this country and dip. He's like, I don't need to be here for this. He's like, I'm done.
And mental health. Well, that plays a big role. Just take a listen.
You mentioned the supreme leader. I got to point out, at this point, that is another possible kind of variable that could shift everything, right? The guy is, what, 85 years old, longest serving dictator in the world right now.
Is he really?
In fairly bad health. Does that matter that he, you know, or are really the Revolutionary Guard running the country at this point?
No, I do think that's very important. He is 86 years old, longest serving autocrat in the world. And one of the things that we didn't anticipate, we didn't know about in the 1979 Iranian Revolution was that the Shah of Iran had terminal cancer. So I think there's the interplay between three forces are very important. What is the physical and psychological health of the supreme leader? How cohesive are Iran's security forces?
Bro should have gave it up sooner, man. I don't know what the exact reason. I mean, like he said, we have no idea. But if he wanted to keep this thing going, he should have just coughed up the title sooner, or at least when he started really showing signs of physical, mental, or whatever decline.
And what is the psychology of Iran's protesters? These things are all interrelated. If the security forces feel like the leader is faltering or he's dying, that may change their calculations. And if the protesters see that the security forces or the regime is starting to splinter or the leader is ailing, that could embolden them as well.
And it seems, just like the previous Shah, the Ayatollah may be preparing for a plan B. According to an intelligence report that was shared by The Times, Iran's Ayatollah has a backup plan to flee the country should his security forces fail to suppress the protest. He plans to escape Iran with his close circle of up to 20 aides and family members should the IRGC start deserting to, the other side. This plan includes his son, who's supposed to be the heir to the supreme leadership position in case the current supreme leader dies. Now, as many of you guys might have guessed, he plans to run to Moscow. And let me explain why. You see, Putin recently opened this new service called Airbnb for dictators. And apparently it has been a huge hit. Of course, Assad is there. He's just...
We know about him. Do we do it? Oh, man, you guys are lucky I deleted the tab. I was about to drop some beats.
Enjoying his life, and his whole entourage is there.
He's now gaming in Russia.
Now, Maduro could not make it there in time, but based on reports we are seeing,
Uncle Sam.
some people from the Maduro regime are taking advantage of this service. And if the need arises in the next few days, Ayatollah Khamenei will be the new guest joining this brand new establishment. Now, it's interesting that this report comes out at this time, because all the while the supreme leader is trying to flee the country, the Iranian parliament is actually threatening the US troops. Take a look at this report. You see, just recently, President Trump put out this tweet. If Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the US will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and
we
ready
know
to
a
go.
thing or two.
Now, of course, the Iranian regime was not happy with this statement
Of
because
course, why would
it
they?
gave moral support to the protesters who were on the street. So the Iranian parliament responded with a very foolish warning. The Speaker of Iran's parliament, basically the head, warned that all US military personnel and bases in the Middle East would be considered legitimate targets if President Trump made good on his claim that the US was...
Now, like, why the fuck would they do that? Like, guys, like, even if you think you have a chance, you don't. We spend $1 trillion. We spend like 4 countries' GDPs combined just on our military budget. And I'm probably, honestly, it could be more countries. I didn't even say where. We'll say from Europe. Pay like the biggest GDPs. Combine them all. I mean, we're spending, like, I'm probably gaslighting, like a shitload. But regardless, our we spend $1 trillion. Why would, and everyone saw what that $1 trillion did in Venezuela. Everyone saw it. Now look, could you probably chop it off a little bit? It doesn't have to be $1 trillion. Yeah, you probably don't have to. But at the same time, America's great. Military's fantastic, and you guys really want to try that? Most well-trained units, most expensive? I don't know.
locked
I just want to do that.
Now, this is where
Personally,
things get
I
a
wouldn't.
bit
I wouldn't
interesting.
try it,
And
guys.
I truly
Come on.
think interesting
I
is a
would
very
know.
horrible word to
I'm an
use in
American.
this
I don't
situation.
know.
But it seems over the last few days, the Iranian regime has started attacking protesters. Just 2 days ago, we got some footage from protesters that showed that the regime forces were literally shooting at peaceful protesters who were filming the whole thing.
Done fucked
and then
up.
last night, we got one of the most
Done
craziest
messed up.
footage so far. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to show this on YouTube, but
Rats.
in the Suraj city of Iran, the regime forces detained a man who was protesting, beat him up, and then basically unalived him using a gun. This was all captured on camera
Dumbasses, bro.
while they were carrying
Uncle
out the
Sam,
fight.
send the
Now,
birds.
as you
We're
can
going
imagine,
back.
This footage has made protesters very angry. So, because of these attacks that
Start
were
bombing
happening
them.
on the protesters, well, some of these protesters have now turned their focus to the bases that these forces were using.
So you're telling me we're potentially about to have 2 colonies again? Dude, I think American imperialism, we're here. We finally entered the stage. So we got Venezuela for the oil. We got Iran. I'm trying to think. What do we got over there? Is there oil? There has to be oil in Iran. We'll get Iran for the oil. And they aren't their banks both like was it decentralized or whatever? Not connected to the World Bank. Interesting.
In Tehran, in the northwest of the city, the protesters have set fire
is
to
great,
a building
man.
that was used by
You know
Iranian
Israel's loving
street-level
this
forces.
right now.
And all the while
Can't
this
wait
is
to
going
install
on,
that
there's
puppet
actually
government when they
something
got the chance.
much more significant happening, especially in a country like Iran. Iranian women are removing their veil, basically their hijabs, right in the heart of the capital city, Tehran. And this is meant to be a symbolic
Yeah, they
protest
done with
against
Islam.
the Islamic Morality Police, and of course the IRGC. Now, I'm sure many of you guys remember just a few years ago, there was a big protest happening all across the country, pretty similar to this one, and that was started because the Iranian Morality Police beat up a girl for not properly wearing a hijab. Then that girl collapsed in the middle of the hospital and died.
So, religion of peace? Wow. And when I see shit like this is where, like, me personally, I have a hard time, like, with Islam. Because you'll meet some people, and some Muslims are genuinely great people. I've met a lot of good ones, and one of them is my good friend of mine. And and then when you just see this shit, just makes you start thinking. It makes you start asking questions like, what does happen if this shit becomes the majority in America? Like, right now, are they just telling us that, oh yeah, no, I'm blending in, everything's great, like, yeah, America first. And then when they eventually outbreed us and they have more and more and more kids, are they going to then eventually just totally flip switch on us one night? I mean, yeah, like, it is something that I potentially do contemplate. And and again, there's a lot of great people out there, but when you look at the Quran and you start thinking about it, you just start asking some questions now, right? And those questions sometimes don't give you the best outcomes. And Iran, I believe I talked about it in another video, but Iran is one of those countries that has had a very big Islamic government. It's been mainstream there. I say mainstream, but it's been their only thing. Like, that's what they've had since 1979 or 73, one of the two. I don't know why I keep messing that up. He said it in the video. But, we've seen what, and again, if you want to go back to that video, please do. But we've seen what Iran was like beforehand. And yeah, the Shah wasn't great, and I'm not advocating for the Shah. I know his son wants to return and become king again. Like, there's a small movement amongst the elites there that are really trying to encourage this. To be honest, I don't see it happening. The only way I see that happening is if the United States, UK, France, one of the big countries really starts pushing for that, and there'd be some consolation there probably from his end, like, So I really wouldn't know how that would go down again. I don't believe the people of Iran want that. I think they just genuinely want a normal democracy and prime minister or president or government, whatever they, see fit there. I think they're done with this dictator shit. But yeah, no, when I see this shit, makes me kind of see, sometimes it goes, okay, Islam, how do you defend that?
Now, the police claimed they never beat her up, but when the autopsy was done, you could see she was internally bleeding. Well, this brutality gave rise to a very strong movement that seems to be still ongoing. Now, the Iranian regime was able to quell it last time using brutal violence, but this time it may be too little, too late. The reason I say this is because the US support seems to be increasing every single day. Just last night, President Trump actually made the first vocal comment, so this was not just a tweet. Take a look.
Very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
That's something.
My guy. Spread that American freedom. Fuck them up.
And on top of this, the US State Department account in Farsi, which is the language they speak in Iran, which is also called Persian, so basically the same language but two different names. Well, that account has been tweeting a lot more in support of the protests that are ongoing. And that's not a common thing, and that's why I'm covering it. I'm not in a habit of just covering tweets, but this seems to be significant. But take a look at the clip they recently tweeted out.
Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance. Until they didn't, and until he didn't.
Mm-hmm. That's why I love America. Mm-hmm. God bless America.
Now, of course, on the account, the tweet was translated or dubbed in Farsi, but I doubt these tweets are actually reaching the Iranian people because the regime has blacked out like the internet all across the country. But luckily, there are a lot of smuggled in Starlink like stations, so there are people who are able to connect to the internet using Starlink.
I know Elon is sending Starlink to Venezuela.
So that's a good thing. But in my opinion, it seems like these tweets and even these messages, they're not really meant for the people. I think they are more meant for the security forces or people around the Iranian leadership. And the goal is to basically have them stop supporting the leadership because at the end of the day, the dictator, the Iranian Ayatollah, is telling the security forces to shoot at their own citizens. They're not fighting a foreign nation here. They're shooting at Iranian people. And usually, that's what happened in 1979. Usually the army, the security forces just say, hey, we're not going to shoot at the citizens anymore. And that's when the leadership has to flee the country. That's, in fact, exactly what happened in 79. And it could happen again. In fact, there is a clip of an Iranian officer, a police officer, burning a photo of Ayatollah Khamenei. Just take a look before I give my comments on the clip.
I mean, anybody could have told you that. I mean, all because, like, a lot of them, like, I remember there's, like, all these, like, stats of, like, oh, like, Iran's a 100% Muslim country. Okay, well, who are you asking? The Iranian government? Yeah, they'll tell you that. Or, oh, yeah, our whole military supports us. Who are you asking? The Iranian government? Yeah, they'll probably say that, too. Oh, look, everyone's getting water. Everyone's getting food. So, yeah, no surprise a guy like this is in the I believe he said police officer, military. I think he said police officer. Said fuck that guy.
I'll be honest, guys, that clip does look fake. It's like someone just set it up, covered their face, and made it for the internet. I don't know if that's actually happening in Iran, and that's the big problem, right? We don't exactly know what kind of defections are taking place, if there are any. But as of right now, even though protests are growing, it's not something that the forces cannot manage. But the problem for the forces is that the rate of growth. Every single day, more and more cities are joining in on the protest.
People are getting hope. People are getting inspired. And, you know, maybe they are seeing Trump's message. And it's, you know, the people can see what happened in Venezuela. And maybe they're looking and going, look. And you know, it kind of gets you emotional. Damn, why am I getting... because it's a powerful thing. There's footage of what wow, sorry. There is footage of what happened in 9/11 when the towers went down and how the Iranian people responded. And I think a lot of people would be shocked on how peaceful and how loving it was. Like, people forget that we used to have a really good relationship with Iran. Iran is like the United States' long-lost girlfriend. Like, we want Iran back. We tried turning her head back. We tried ignoring it. We tried acting like it, you know, we don't care, but we think we can fix her. We always do. And we will always crawl right back to Iran. And that's just, for some reason, that's our little darling. We love Iran. Now, that being said, yeah, this is no surprise. Yeah, no surprising what's going on here.
So there's going to come a point where...
Oh, my point. Sorry. Yeah, no. And it's like a lot of people forget that, you know, we're told to believe that they all hate us and they all, you know, we hate them, they hate us, but that's all government. The people are really good people. They just have been in a really tough position. They've been in a spot that's put them in. I mean, guys, who would want to be in that situation? No one. One of my buddies, his dad fled Iran when the Shah went down, and I think he was about 10, 11 when he left. So he was young. He didn't quite grow up, but he was he was there that was his home country, and I don't believe he's gone back to even his hometown. I mean, that's just how, because they would pretty much arrest him and force him to stay in the country. And I don't think he wants to do that. It's kind of crazy. It's just Iran's been one of those weird situations, kind of like a dystopia of some
It could grow
sort.
too big to control. And that is something that the Iranian leadership is actually worried about. And on top of all this, something else could happen from outside. Take a look at this report. Just last week, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was in the United States, and his main focus was to meet with President Trump and talk about the Iranian ballistic missile program. Now, if you guys saw some clips from the 12-day war, well, Iran has a very strong ballistic missile program. They may not have nukes, at least yet, but the ballistic missiles can do some real
Weapons
damage.
of mass
And bad
destruction,
news
where
for
have we heard
Israel
that
is
before?
They're within the range, and on top of that, it seems Israeli air defenses, the Iron Dome and all the other air defenses they have, they don't seem to be able to stop all the ballistic missiles. And that means Israel
Of course,
wants to
it's
take
not
out
great.
the program before Iran can make more of it. And based on reports, it seems like Iran is spending a lot of money rebuilding the ballistic missile program, all the while the country is going through a horrendous economic crisis. That's why when
It's kind of like the India meta, They got poop on the streets, but they got nukes. Iran got nukes, no water.
Netanyahu came to the United States, it was kind of an important meeting, but there's so much going on in the world, it makes sense that many people overlooked it. But based on some reports that came out after the meeting, Trump may have approved plans for Israeli strikes on Iranian ballistic missile program. And that could be bad news, especially at a time when the protests are going on. But there's also the counterpoint. Israel probably doesn't want to get involved right now if there is a chance that the protesters can topple the regime.
Yeah, they're currently doing another genocide, so they're a little preoccupied right now.
Because
Don't worry,
Israel
they'll
give
turn around,
the
give it
Iranian
some time.
regime a reason to basically unite the people, basically rally against a flag effect. Which we see in a lot of countries where a country is attacked from an overseas power, the people forget about domestic problems and they focus on the
I see him. I'm just thinking
outside
modern
problem.
warfare.
Well,
I
Israel
don't
may
know
not
why.
want to give that opportunity, and maybe that's why they may not carry out the strikes anytime soon. Now, as if all this wasn't bad enough already, Iran saw what happened in Venezuela and how quickly it had happened, and that has given the leadership more of a reason to worry. Not necessarily worry about the United States,
We're coming.
but worry about their own economy, because some Iranian politicians are very publicly talking about how countries like Venezuela and even Syria collapsed because of how bad their economy was. These politicians are warning that the same thing could happen in Iran if the economy doesn't improve anytime soon. Because think about it, when the economy is bad, it's not just the public that's suffering. The
When young people,
riot police is suffering, security forces are suffering, even the military personnel are struggling.
when the people are struggling, when the people are suffering, when the people aren't getting opportunity, when the people aren't seeing any hope. Sounds like another country where, we know about. America. When people are not feeling opportunity, when people are feeling like they ain't making money, there's nothing benefiting them, yeah, at some point they're all going to get together and get pissed. They're all going to say enough's enough. I'm done with it. I'm just sick of all the bullshit. I'm tired of you taking money away from me. I'm tired of you making everyone feel like shit because they have to work 4 to 5. I don't know. I was about to go. I was trying to go into an honest ramble, but I don't know. Just shit like this, genuinely, like, I can resonate with that because, like, yeah, when you look at what's going on right now, it's like I'm in the richest country in the world, but it doesn't feel like it. Like, obviously, I'm in a first world country and it's very developed, but I'm talking about, like, just opportunity and what's going on. And this is doing YouTube's a privilege. You know, it's something that I can do in my spare time and kind of just chat, you know, not annoy my friends anymore and chat my thoughts away and just kind of have some fun, make a few jokes, talk some seriousness. That's what I try to do. And, you know, it's like, yeah, I work and I come here and just make some videos, have a good time. So, yeah, I mean, I'm in a good business. You know, I'm very thankful to be in America, but yeah, there's definitely some, you know, hardship. I don't like how 18-year-olds get taxed up the fucking wazoo. And when I mean, I'm sorry, I said the wrong word. When they have to take on debt. Sorry, because you know they have to go to college, right? College is the only way. College is the answer, and then they have to take out hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of student loans just to get an opportunity, just to come right out of college and not get a job, you know, or get replaced by AI in 2.5 years and have to switch their major and then take out more loans. A lot of kids are dealing with that, or millennials or older Gen Zers having to work a bullshit fucking job that is severely underpaid and they cannot find simply under other opportunity, or they cannot buy a home. They don't want to rent. They want to buy a home. They don't have a place to settle down, relax, get a dog, maybe meet a girl or guy, whatever. You can. I was about to have a joke there, but I was like, probably not. uh, but no, they they want to just have opportunity. They want to be able to experience life. They want to raise a family. They want to buy a home. Can't do it right now. Financially, good luck. I mean, at some point, people are just going to have a kid and just deal with the financial consequences if you want to do that part of your life, because that's really what it's looking like. It's either you just got to just deal with it, or your family ends with you. The family tree does not extend past you. I mean, you got two outcomes, right? Or two options there. So we can all relate.
When people are hungry, they have less of a reason to put up with dictatorships. So definitely interesting times ahead in Iran. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to catch our future updates relating to everything that's going on. YouTube usually demonetizes advertising.
Yeah, great video, and you know, and it goes to again, when you look at that little end part, it's, you know, the little end part, it's like, yeah, when the people struggle, that's when you really start seeing the change, and that's exactly what we're dealing with right now in America. People are struggling. People from all generations are not feeling like their voices are getting heard. Politicians are not listening. You can easily look at a lot of these other countries and go, wait a minute, I understand that. Makes sense to me. So it's really interesting when you look at like these videos through perspective. When it comes to what's going to be happening with Iran, who knows? Iran could be, because I thought by the title, I thought he was looking like he was already gone, but it doesn't seem like he is gone. So who knows what's going to happen? This is going to be really interesting. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to leave because he's probably sick and ill, and I'm assuming Moscow has some sort of medical setup so he can get more help there. So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen. I do believe that there will probably be a young person slash poor, more likely, like, you know, people versus government style revolution. I think that's most likely going to happen in Iran. Probably be backed by the United States, one form or another, which we said, if, you know, if Iran attacks, we will go to war. Or not war, I think just bomb the shit out of the government. Because again, Trump doesn't really go to war. You know, he's pretty efficient with that. He just goes in there, takes them out, leaves. Hey, efficient. I'm here for it. So, alright guys, if you like more of these videos, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It really does help me as a small creator to kind of get a little like-minded individuals slash people who just love to have good conversations. So yeah, if you guys like these videos, I'm trying to just have fun, keep up with them for everyone, for myself to look back at, and for hopefully you guys to enjoy as well. So anyway, I appreciate it. Be good, be safe. Please don't be stupid. Don't do anything stupid. Be smart. I don't know what time of the day or what day of the week you're watching this, but if it's on a Friday, just don't be dumb, please. All right. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.